The Super Bowl and the Olympics are an amazing, amazing example of why most leadership development programs are a complete waste of time. Now, I shouldn't say that. I get the chance to speak around the world, and I shouldn't say that most leadership development programs are a complete waste of time. It's not exactly true, but a lot of them are close. They're close to being a complete waste of time. And why? Why? Because people don't make the progress. There's a massive gap between what we know about great leadership and what we do. There's a massive gap there. The massive gap. I meet people all over the place where you talk to them and they can quote, they can give you leadership models. But no one chooses to follow them. No one chooses to follow them. And the Super Bowl and the Olympics are an amazing example of why. See, what happens at the Super Bowl? What happens in the Olympics? Both of those events are a stake in the ground. Both of those events are a stake in the ground. Tom Brady, how's he doing in the Super Bowl this year? Well, we know the answer to that. He's not. Right? He's not. You could go through a whole list of some of the greatest football players alive today and say, how are they doing this year? And you know. Same thing with the Olympics. You watch the Olympics and say, how are we doing with medals? Which country is leading in medals? Well, which country has the most golds? Which country has the most total medals? Which country has the most participants? How did so-and-so, Chloe Kim, I think, is about to be in the snowboarding, the half pipe. And Shaun White as well. Two Americans that are, I think, favorites. But I don't know how they're going to do. I think it starts tonight, starts tomorrow. I don't know how they're going to do, but we'll find out, won't we? You see, the Super Bowl, the Olympics, they're a stake in the ground. They're both a stake in the ground. And here's the reality. You want to be a better leader. You want to be a better parent. I want to be a better leader. I want to be a better parent. I need a stake in the ground. You need a stake in the ground. You need something that drives you, something that puts positive pressure on you, something where it doesn't let you hide, it doesn't let you cop out, something that doesn't really that doesn't cater to excuses, something that takes a spotlight and shines it on reality. Now, I want to challenge you to look back through your world when you make the most progress. Isn't that true? Isn't it true that there's a stake in the ground? That there's something that kind of puts a spotlight on how you're really performing? And like, it. Here's the date of right? Here's the deadline. Here's the presentation. A number of years ago, I started an entrepreneur camp for kids. And I did it really in my spare time. I was consulting for some big companies. I was helping a big company in a turnaround at the same time. And I thought, well, let me do an entrepreneur camp. It wasn't perhaps the wisest. It didn't help me stay sane, but at the same time it did, because it gave me something I really wanted to do. I wanted to make a difference in young kids' lives. So I started running this entrepreneur camp. And the first time I did it with just a few kids. I think it was 10 or so kids the first time. And over the course of a few years, I had probably about 1,000 kids go through this entrepreneur camp, all different forms of it. And one of the events that we did, even in that very first camp, was a stake in the ground. It was essentially an Olympic moment. It was essentially a Super Bowl. It was let's put the spotlight on, and let's make sure we can all see reality. What do I mean by that? Well, just one of the events, one of the experiences we had for these young kids, these teenagers. This was all, I think, 13 to 18 the first year we did it. And we said, all right, Thursday we're presenting your business plan before a live audience. And the kids looked at us, a live audience? Yeah, we're actually going to present in a bank. Oh, Yeah, and we're going to present your business plan. Not we, you, each of you are going to present your business plan in that bank before a live audience of people who could lend you money to do what you want to do. And you could, they paused in their breathing for a moment. And when you speak, when you teach, you notice that. You notice when people go, and they stop breathing for a moment. And that's what they did. And then we said, well, wait a second, we're going to actually, it's not just going to be in the bank before bankers, but it's going to be also entrepreneurs from the area. And we told them a few of the names, and it was people they knew, a founder of that company and that, oh wow, the owner of, oh no way, and then we said, and we're going to live stream it. So we had essentially it was like a TV studio set up in this bank, in their boardroom. It wasn't some back office. It was in the boardroom. So they went in through the main entrance of the bank, and they met with the president of the branch, and then went to the boardroom, and it was showtime. It was the Olympics. It was the Super Bowl. It was that moment. And see, these kids, they put a different amount of work in to get ready for that event. And see, I share this with you because you and I, we both already know this. We know that there's some part of your life where you need to put a stake in the ground. You need to say, you know what? That's the show. That's the big event. That's the day of the Olympics. I would love to watch the Olympics, and I love to watch when athletes don't win. When they fall, they're doing the giant slalom and they miss a gate, or they lose an edge and they lose a half a second and they're out. They're out of medal contention because of one slight mishap. I love to watch that. It's gotta be frustrating, yes, but it fuels them for the next 4 years. Here's the challenge for you and I. The challenge is for us to build something like that into our schedules, into our lives, into our own personal who are you becoming plan a little more often. Maybe we need a better spotlight. Maybe we need to say, hey, it's go time. Maybe we need to say, you know what, the next meeting I do, maybe you have a mentor in your life. Maybe you have a good friend. You respect their opinion a tremendous amount. Maybe say, hey, I'm going to live stream it, and I want you to tell me what you really think. Make your Olympics. Make your Super Bowl. Make your stake in the ground. Make your spotlight that creates a positive pressure on you to help you to get a little bit closer to the leader, to the person, to the parent you're capable of being.